All right, so we are standing now in the medium timber stand improvement unit.
Yeah.
That's a 40 to 50% canopy reduction.
Yeah.
Oftentimes that means we have to take a lot more stems than the 40, 50%, right? Because we're taking out the junk trees that aren't occupying a ton of the canopy.
Yeah.
So as we see it, oftentimes with it being medium TSI, it's easier to go through and identify the keep trees or the leave trees. You can mark those ahead of time, and then you know everything else is pretty much getting cut or terminated by girdle and spray or hack and squirt.
Okay.
So if you will, in this unit itself, again, south facing, we want it to be oaks. We know we're gonna have fire in here. So oak hickory dominated is gonna be the overstory, but that's only gonna occupy 50 to 60% of the sunlight.
Okay.
That means we're removing eastern red cedar, elm, some hickory that is closely growing next to one another. There's walnut mixed in here. There's some dead ash trees in here as well. Redbud, the Carolina buckthorn is this mid-story component, but it's much easier to go through and just say, okay, spacing wise, to have an even distribution of that 40, 50% being removed, that hickory right there, that's a leave tree. Let's slide over here and say, okay, that red oak right back over here, that's a leave tree.
Flying off, or is that?
That's the one, the larger canopy with the orange leaves still on it.
Yes.
Just that's a leave tree. Got a big full canopy.
Yep,
tucked behind that hickory.
Yeah, there's one coming out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
will you cut those? The ones like, are those like less ideal trees, like the doubles?
The doubles, typically yes. Yeah. They're a little bit less ideal. But with that hickory, both are, you know, the split is a hickory. Yeah. With them being that close to the leave tree, the red oak, both of those are getting cut anyways, or terminated.
Because
anyways.
that's that area around that tree that you want to preserve and have it be its maximum potential.
We want max sunlight going to that red oak, and so with that being in the canopy or drip line, it's getting terminated.
So what causes a tree like that to be split? Is that one that's already been felled at one point?
Oftentimes those are stump sprouts from a previous harvest.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And those are obviously ideal to just, not obviously, I'm asking, those are ideal trees to cut and get rid of?
Yes.
Because they are less than ideal?
They're not ever going to be a log value of any sort of economic return, but they're also, unless you're trying to raise booner squirrels here, a hickory doesn't matter to a deer, right? Yeah. So essentially, that doesn't have to, a double is not what we would want to keep. We want to keep a nice single-stemmed, well-shaped, formed canopy hickory if we're going to leave a hickory.
Yeah, and then when you're saying canopy reduction, you're looking at the top canopy, and that's what you're going for.
Yes.
So all these medium-sized or these lower-level trees, I guess, or shrubs, I don't know what you call this right here. Are you just taking that out with a brush hog or cutting these out?
This is hack and squirt right here. This is a hatchet and a squirt of herbicide.
Even these little ones,
these little, cut them? Yep, these are mid-story trees.
Mid-story.
Fire's going to help reset them.
Yeah.
But at the same time frame, if I've got herbicide and I'm in here, I can just go ahead and terminate right now.
That's what you're doing. So you're terminating with herbicide or whatever.
Yep.
So you're not walking with a chainsaw and just trying to cut every single one of those.
Correct.
So it's much more time efficient. So,
exactly.
Okay. So those are mid-story trees, which to us have no value because it's going to take them how long to get any kind of effect.
Right, and we don't even want those in an overstory situation. So you look at the forest like layers. You got understory, we've got gooseberry.
Understory is like 1.5 feet, 2 feet high.
Yep, 3 foot and down. Okay. What's within reach for deer and turkey, and what we're actually trying to promote with more sunlight in here is understory. Sure, we're gonna get some benefit of the red oaks and the canopy with more sunlight, more hard mass, but really what we're trying to do is herbaceous material on the ground.
Provide
that's
more
within
food.
reach. Yep. So we've got oak sprouts, we've got buckbrush. This is an elm sprout, winged elm right here. This is river oats. All these are components of an understory. Then the next stage, you've got the midstory, which is what you're seeing right through there. That is obviously the next canopy, potentially, if something happened to the overstory. Well, we can't just come in here as a TSI situation and just focus on overstory, because we have to make sure that the midstory doesn't take the sunlight.
That's what I was wondering.
And block understory.
That's stopping everything there.
It's the next layer.
So are you trying to preserve midstory at all? Or are you just saying, hey, that's all out, it's just going to take from the understory?
If we've got good, which other places do, if we have good representation of white oaks, you know, like
potential for later on.
Correct. Yep. We can't kill the next generation of overstory, but we have to make sure that that next generation of overstory is what we want in our overstory.
Exactly right.
So if it's junk trees like it is here, elms, the abundance of hickory and
Yeah.
cedar, well, we don't want that.
Absolutely.
We want
So,
sunlight,
yep.
produce more understory, but we've got good understory components. There's a lot of greenbrier, there's blackberry, the oak sprouts coming back in here.
Yep.
And I like to see the native cool season grasses like river oats. We're gonna see more of this on this
awesome.
hillside as we get more sunlight in here, and prescribed fire.
Can't wait
If
to
we're
see.
open up the canopy,
Yeah.
and I know you're already on board with it,
Yeah.
we're burning. It's
I'm
chocolate
bored with
peanut
all of it,
butter.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
this will be a really awesome unit.
Oh yeah.
There's a perfect little bench right down there where the bedding thicket's going to go. in
You're
this
saying
hole.
bench. You're saying leveled off.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of steep. It drops back down,
Yeah.
and it flattens out before it drops back down to the creek, and it's 150,
That's where
200
that
yards.
that bedding thicket is. You have marked on the map.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So whenever this unit gets burned, that bedding thicket's going to get burned at the same time.
That's awesome.
And I don't care too, since we've got a good break here,
Yeah.
and we'll have one against the east side of the farm.
Yeah.
In time, you can head fire this one. It's interior of the property. We
You're
want
saying
this.
head fire. You're saying put it upwind and let it blow through this whole thing.
Yep. We're saying once you've got a black line across the top,
Yeah.
drop down low along the creek and let it rip up the slope.
So I'm very new to to prescribed burns. You're saying black line. That's
Yep.
something you've cut and you've burned that line right there.
Yes.
So it's a complete stop, straight up stop.
you're removing the fuel right before you drop down low.
This
So
is
you've got
black
your
line.
fire break
Yep.
that you've blown out, and you're back burning off of it, 15, 20 yards. Then you're taking it down each of the edges of the
Yeah.
unit, and then it's starting to burn interior of the unit. So not only do you have your fire break, you've got black line on every side of it. Then you get to the creek.
So
And
that's
then
how a fire would get away from you, is if you don't
Yes.
do that, you're putting it upwind, and then
Yep.
now it's just blowing it. Where when you're blowing it with a backpack blowers or whatever, you're telling it how far, and it's only going to come back to where it's already burned off fuel.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
It can't burn beyond
Yep.
the fuel that you've already
Because there's
removed.
nothing there to keep it going.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, but fire going uphill,
Yeah.
it's preheating the fuel, so that way it's burning at a much rapid and hotter
I didn't
pace.
think about that. Yeah.
So-
and then downhill, heat
Correct.
goes up. It's
He-
going to go
exactly.
much slower.
This guy's smart. He's got it.
No. I think it's
Common
physics,
sense.
right? Or
That's
something
it.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that's where, like, honestly, a lot of this is to make my job
Yeah.
sound really easy. We're manipulating sunlight, turn it into plants, and then using fire to further manipulate it and
Yeah.
maintain this.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing.
A lot easier than walking through every day. That's what I was wondering.
Some may cut through, but even if it doesn't,
It doesn't matter. You still hit it.
I still put herbicide on that.
Are you brushing that, or are you actually squirting it?
I've got a bottle with me.
Yeah.
I squirt it. But like, if I'm saying every single one, this is Carolina buckthorn. It's dark and white splotchy, so easy to remember. This is also Carolina buckthorn.
Splotchy?
Here. I'm 100% killing these with hack and squirt. Some of the bigger ones in here, I will, but like this little guy and that little guy, fire's gonna top kill that thing.
So
You know,
that's
it's gonna
what, so
reset.
that stuff you're not even worried about because the fire's going to get that.
It's gonna top
reset.
kill it.
Okay.
If you've got,
But it will root sprout basically at the base again.
Yeah.
won't it?
Yep.
But that's
but
fine.
then 3 years later, we're coming back with another fire. So like this, if you look right there, that's a super thin bark. See that green?
If you gets a calcium layer, whatever it is, or how do you say
That's
it?
the
Calcium?
cambium layer.
Cambium. Dang
Yep.
it.
You're close.
Close. Yeah.
Had the right word, or
Yeah.
the right letter.
Yeah. See.
But that
Thinking milk.
is the veins and artery of the tree.
Yeah.
So we have to hold heat around that, and thankfully this is thin barked. It's not going to
Talking about
withstand
this,
heat.
this tree species
This
is, or the
species
size
itself,
of it. Okay.
both
Both.
of
Okay.
them.
So some species you'd see in here that could actually withstand it, you'd have to do more to.
See that the base of that white oak right
Yep.
there, and then the base of that hickory.
Yeah.
How much thicker and deeper and grooved
Yeah.
that bark is?
Yeah.
It's built.
That's
to
almost
handle.
its insulation from a fire burning
exactly
off.
what it is.
Okay. These
So,
don't have that.
This will top
type of
kill,
tree.
and we'll just
Gotcha.
let fire maintain
So
this.
if you're coming through here, the TSI crew, they're not worried about this stuff.
No, not really.
This they would be because it's taller. It's not going to
It's
get top
bigger.
killed.
Yeah,
So
this
just
is
tack and squirt
too
and call it a day.
established. This has actually had fire on it. See that? This
Yeah.
is a fire scar.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
See that black right there? That's
Yep.
fire. That's fire over there on that one.
Yeah.
There's been fire on this unit before.
Interesting.
This is
Yeah.
black soot from fire. It's been a long time,
Yeah.
but there has been fire. There's,
Really?
There's another tree, dead tree over there, dead snag.
Yeah.
That's got fire scars
Where'd you
on
come
it.
from?
But, yeah, this is, too big to be
That's
reset with fire.
I gotcha. That's
Unless you have a ripper.
which
We're not doing
You don't
that.
want that.
Yeah.
That's when you start getting tight, right?
Yeah. But when the butthole puckers.
Exactly right. That's called white knuckle driving. Same thing.
Yes.